All right, it's that time now, baby. It's that time. It is your favorite part of the week. I would venture to say, too, so the quiet part out loud, probably your mother's favorite part of the week when Caden Smith jumps on the show. It's a good vibe. You might know him as Cato. Final predictions for conference title weekend. It's a glorious thing. No upset watch this week. I don't really think that's we'll see if Caden has a prediction for that. But without further ado, let's welcome on the man, the myth, the legend, producer of the Hard Count, and again has the hearts of different audiences all across our platform. Cato, what's going on, baby? How we living?
I'm living good. I'm ready to run through the wall after all four of the walls in the studio, actually, after those press conferences, man. You talk about two dudes that'll just fire you up. If you're watching this as an individual video, thanks for watching, first of all. But go watch our coach translator, John Summerall, Lane Kiffin, because a lot of new juice and energy for LSU in Florida this offseason. I can't wait to keep diving into that. But this is about conference championship week, right? Let's talk about the games of the weekend.
It's going to be fun, man. But circle back on the translator stuff. I didn't realize that Lane Kiffin had the juice like that. Like he kind of brought a few different sound bites and bars. I was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, and we can talk about that forever. You mentioned how we were texting back and forth about it. My last message to you was like, biggest takeaway, he had to take the job. Like, he had to go to LSU. And then you hear in the full press conference, you hear the president of LSU intro the AD and the AD intro Lane Kiffin. You can just feel the energy and how excited and how just we talk about the LSU fan base a lot and their care factor. The care factor in the building right now seems like it's never been higher, and Lane's the perfect guy for that. So it's just electric in there, man. Not to mention it seems like there's a little bit of money in that building too that comes with it. It was kind of radiating off of the powers that be that were speaking, and some of the laughs and claps you were hearing in that room. So a lot of good stuff for LSU, man. It's going to be an exciting offseason for them.
I think they're doing okay financially in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Even with the bad of Brian Kelly, I guess they're doing okay. But, Caden, you mentioned it, conference title weekend, man. We usually would do an upset watch. I don't think that's probably the most appropriate, maybe is the right word to use for this weekend. But where do you eye? And I want to give you the floor, man. What's the number one prediction for you here for conference title weekend before we dive into a glorious Saturday of conference title games?
Yeah, JD, I know earlier your prediction show, you chose Georgia to win the SEC championship. Yeah. I'm feeling like Stephen A. Smith after diving into this one. Give me Alabama. I feel like the Crimson Tide are almost underrated at this point. Number 10 team in the country. I don't think there's 9 teams better than them. And I didn't know what to look at. You can look at the last matchup. You can look at a lot of different things. I think once you get to this time of the year, you kind of got to look at a team versus their best opponent. What I looked at, JD, was last year's SEC championship game. Texas versus Georgia. Everyone remembers, goes into overtime, 22-19 win. Texas only rushed for 31 yards in that game, JD, and they went to overtime with the Dogs. We mentioned all season long, Alabama's kryptonite has been not really being able to run the ball. They weren't really able to do it really when they played Georgia in the regular season, and they still won that game because they had Ty Simpson. Yeah. And I think when it comes down to it, when it comes to these teams making deep playoff runs, yes, you'll have to have the run game there. I think an Alabama team who probably feels like they're a little bit underranked, and just coming off of 2 weekends for both of these teams where they didn't look too hot. Georgia against Georgia Tech, didn't like the offensive output at all from Georgia. Scared me a little bit. Yeah. Jordan-Hare Stadium gets a little crazy. Alabama was able to pull that one out. I like what I saw from Alabama more in that game. They actually showed the ability to run the ball. And I think Kalen DeBoer having the audacity to go for it on 4th and 2, put the ball in the hands of Ty Simpson for the game to put the nail on that one. I think last year, if you put Ty Simpson on Texas, Georgia might not be walking out of that Mercedes-Benz Stadium as a SEC champion. And I think this year, Ty Simpson will be the difference in the matchup once again when they play. And I think Alabama's going to do it, man. This game's not going to be perfect on the ground for Alabama. Their defense is getting better. I really liked what Georgia Tech was able to do to Georgia's defense, so I think Alabama's going to be able to be just fine. But at the end of the day, I love Gunnar Stockton. I trust him with my life. But Ty Simpson, man, just seems like the dynamic quarterback right now. Love what I saw with him, especially moving the chains with his legs. I think Ryan Grubb's going to have answers to the test. I like their offense with him and Ty compared to a Mike Bobo, who has gotten the most out of what we've seen. But last week against Georgia Tech, man, like Ryan Grubb's not putting himself in that spot. They're finding answers to the test, and they are going to get points on the board. Only a matter of time kind of thing. So not as much Jeremy Bernard. no Ryan Williams pretty much. Ty Simpson was still able to do that, and I think Ty and Ryan Grubb are going to have the answers, and I really like, especially looking at Georgia just historically in these kind of games and what it takes to win. Great coaching job by Kirby, great team this year, but I think Ty Simpson is going to be the best player in this game, and I think he's going to do it for Alabama.
That's the thing that makes me nervous about that prediction, is just what you said, Ty Simpson. Because there's been many games where it hasn't made sense. Bama's been, I don't want to say like outgained specifically, because it hasn't happened like all that frequently where they get outgained and still find a way to win. The Auburn game obviously is a standalone in itself in terms of like a trend for Alabama. But with Ty Simpson, it may not be support on the ground. It may not be a perfect game flow of sorts. He might even start that hot. But at the most important moments, when the chips are stacked, Ty Simpson, time and time again, seems to rise to the occasion. From that 4th and 2 throw to, I mean, they talk about the Vanderbilt game, some of the throws he made in that one. I mean, the game against Georgia to start the year, made some clutch throws downfield to end up allowing them to win that football game. So that makes me nervous. So it's funny, one of my predictions is I think Bama still struggles with Georgia on the ground, man.
It's fair.
It felt like, to me, Georgia left a little bit more on the bone in that game. And some of that, I don't know if you put on Gunnar Stockton, if you credit Alabama, which I think you absolutely should if you're breaking that one down in hindsight. But I have a really hard time believing that Georgia and what they found, especially in the second half of that game running the football, I think Nate Frazier's improved since then. Chauncey Bowens was phenomenal in that game. He had like 9 yards of carry. I think that variable holds for Georgia, and I think the way that Georgia's matured these last couple of weeks ends up being the difference. Cato, I think when in the preseason, was this the title game that you had? I know you had Georgia in there. Did you have Georgia,
was.
Bama?
Oh, wow, I forgot. Yeah.
And I think I don't want to put words in your mouth. It was close, but I want to say you might. Did you have Georgia in this game in the preseason?
Yeah,
You're more than within the right to flip. But
that's so funny. I've completely lost sight of the fact that yes, I picked Georgia to run the table and win the SEC championship. I did. They did not run the table.
Either way, you're right though here.
They did make it, and yeah. So I am flipping my commitment though.
Nothing wrong with that.
The Ty Simpson of it all, man, just scares me, and it's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be a good one for sure. But I just. These two logos, man, they never get old, right? And I'm not subscribing. Notice in my whole rationale, I didn't say anything about Georgia having an Alabama problem, Kirby having an Alabama problem.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that. Just X's and O's, man. It's weird. I kind of think Georgia's more built to have a deeper playoff run, but one game, I like Alabama in this spot, man. I just like the spot there, and I like the recent things I've seen to them compared to Georgia. So we'll see. But yeah, man. Do you have any predictions for the Big Ten title game? Maybe.
I got, let's go no huddle here with the clock winding down on us with some of our good friends from rivals trying to get into the studio. I'll go no huddle here. I got 2 for you. One, Julian Sayin gives him a little
Heisman
maybe
moment.
he makes that noise, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I think Julian Sayin locks up the Heisman Trophy against Indiana. And Diego Pavia has been awesome. Jeremiah Love, you could argue, is the best player in college football. But with the way this award goes, Cato, we've seen it many times. It's a vibes award. It's oftentimes a conference title weekend award, even with the last 2 years in a Travis Hunter and Jane Daniels not playing conference title weekend. I still think that trend shows back up. I think Julian Sayin has a good enough day at the office in a 1 versus 2 matchup. Voters say, yep, best quarterback, best team. We'll roll with Ohio State's Julian Sayin as the Heisman Trophy winner. Then a little bonus here. I think there is only one team from the Big 12 and the G5 in the college football playoff. I think BYU loses the Big 12 title game. Looks like 10 is the cutoff. I don't think they find their way into that top 10 on Selection Sunday. It breaks my heart. And by nature of Virginia beating Duke, only get one G5 team in. So those are my predictions for the rest of conference title weekend. Sayin and one from the Big 12 and G5 into the dance, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Big question for you. Do you think Julian Sayin looking like a 12-year-old from the visually, do you think that's hurting his Heisman case? Because I think at this point it is.
It might. I mean, I don't know the exact average age of a Heisman voter. I would guesstimate it's someone a little longer in the tooth.
I just feel like people aren't taking him seriously, because he looks like a little baby out there. But man, the ball's not touching the ground, guys. I don't know what to tell you. He is completing passes at an unreal rate. I think if he has I think this could be it. I think my advice to Julian, if you do what JD says you're going to do, Heisman moment, I need some Joe Burrow cigar smoke in the locker room kind of moment to get this going, because you're a dog, man, but you just not looking the part from the neck up to people, and I think it's hurting his case. I think he should be in New York for sure, and I think that if he scores some aura points and shows some maturity, not in his game, because his game is mature, but in some of the small moments, you know what I mean? I think that could do it for him. That could lock it up.
Can we grow a beard?
Dude, something.
No free shout-outs, but your boy takes Nutrafol, does a lot for the follicles. Maybe, just maybe, we get something from my guy's facial hair, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're in New York winning the Heisman Trophy. Kato, you want to send us out here with your predictions as we wrap this up with conference title weekend on the doorstep for us?
Yeah. For some quick ones for sure. I think when I asked you in our rankings prediction, Indiana wins if. For me, it's if they can run the rock. Like, if they can run the ball, they keep this game, like, much more alive. They have, like, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 guys that have rushed for more than 200 yards this year. That can keep them in the game. When they played Oregon, they only rushed for 111 yards, but they had enough within their offense and their defense to support them to make it happen. This isn't Ohio State. Like, Ohio State and Oregon are not the same. Like, you're going to need to run the ball probably more effective than that, probably more than that, to control this game, because you don't want that offense on the field, and moving the ball against this defense is just a struggle. So I think the first few drives, if we see Indiana's running backs falling forward, gaining some yardage, some tough yardage, moving the chains, I think they'll be in a really good spot. But like I said before, the dynamic play of the quarterback position, I love Mendoza, but the RPO system, I think he's just easier to stop than Julian Sane in this offense. So love Ohio State. BYU, I looked this up, JD. LJ Martin, 217 carries. Bear Bachmeier, 137 carries. Next closest guy, Parker Kingston, wide receiver, 22 carries.
Jeez.
Their whole identity in that run game is on 2 players. Those 2 players did not play well against Texas Tech. I think that happens again, man. I think Texas Tech is going to do exactly what you said, too. I think unless Bear Bachmeier shows some level of maturity we didn't see 4 weeks ago when they played, just not liking him in that spot either. So they're going to have a lot more going on offense to make something happen. But love Texas Tech in that spot. And you know what? The ACC's been weird this year. Charlotte, a little bit closer to Duke than Virginia. Duke's probably going to win this game. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to give any kind of breakdown, but Duke probably wins this one just because that's what the ACC's been doing this year. They surprised a lot of people last weekend. I'm not going to get surprised this weekend. Duke, congratulations. I don't know if you're in the conference. I don't know if you're in the playoff, but I have you winning this game, and you're the conference champion. It just doesn't make sense, and that's why it's going to happen.
Just a double serving of heartbreak for the ACC the last couple of years between Florida State, and then if Duke gets it, and you're probably right, like with 2025, the year that it is, Duke's going to find their way into that ACC title championship chair, and we'll see what happens from there if they win the whole thing.